Hat, sunglasses, Pepsi, notes, sources, thick skin, check. You already know. Let's go. Welcome to Golden Blue today, everybody. This is a college football channel. So if you like college football, hit the like and subscribe button. It's that simple. Also, send gear to represent your team and be a part of my background forever. All you have to do is send it to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina 29657. Yep, we're back in the car line waiting on my kids to get out of school, so you know what that means, another car video. Some of these are actually pretty good, so I'll let you be the judge whether this is a good one or whether it's a big old flop. And how things have changed in Clemson, South Carolina as far as standards. They are not happy with the 10-win season. But when Dabo Swinney took over back in 2008, he's been at Clemson 15 years. Back when he took over Clemson in 2008, a 10-win season would have been a miracle. A freaking miracle. Standards are higher, and I get it. That's what comes with winning. Attitudes have changed, and people aren't quite satisfied with anything else but a playoff appearance, getting to the national championship, and winning another national championship. And I get it. That's what winning does for you. Those are good standards. I wish West Virginia had those standards. But we're still on the other side of the coin where we're hoping for an 8-4 season. Man, that would be a great season for West Virginia. So count your blessings, Clemson fans. But even the attitude of Dabo Swinney has changed a lot. Is the stress of winning getting to him? I don't know. But overall, in 15 years, he's 160-38 at Clemson. Think about that. 160-38. That is a winning percentage of 80.8%. That is insane, including seasons of 7-4, 9-5, 6-7, 10-4, 11-2, 11-2, 10-3, 14-1, 14-1, 12-2, 15-0, 14-1, 10-2, 10-3, and 10-2. So the last 3 years have been letdown years because they've only been a 10-win season. And we heard him a while back whenever Clemson did get to their first 10-win season that he said this was only the beginning. This is just the start. We are building a championship football program. So whenever you're building a championship football program, yeah, the standards do get higher. Now, he has a call-in show, and I did a video on this yesterday, and a caller asked him, hey, since we lost to South Carolina, our offense looks bad, we're not going back to the playoffs, should there be some staffing changes? His reply was, well, I guess every time we lose a game, or our offense looks bad, or we miss the playoffs, we should always just make some coaching staff changes, right? Or maybe I should just coach somewhere else. What a bonehead remark. That was the most immature response you could have given. The problem with Dabo Swinney is he used to look outside the box and find the best coaches to bring into his family. Now he's promoting from within. And that's a problem sometimes, especially if those coaches aren't very good. If it's not working out, you're going to have to let them go. This is why it's always a bad idea to hire friends. Because if they're not getting the job done and you fire them, oh, I thought we were friends. Remember the Shane Lyons interview that I talked about? Where his response to his firing was, when I thought we were friends. There's going to be some bitterness there. He's literally mad because he said he was friends with everybody, but he got fired and now that he's bitter. That's why hiring friends is not a good idea. This is why. But for Clemson, it's not working out. Now, if you want to go back to, 10-win seasons are fine, then stay as is. What you're doing now works. But if you want to get back to championship level, you have to get back to championship coaching staffs. And listen, whenever you're winning, as much as Clemson is winning, your coaching staff is going to get picked apart. That doesn't mean you just keep promoting from within and hopefully it works out. Now, you can try it, and then if it doesn't work out, you move on from it. You've tried it, Dabo Swinney. It's not working out. It's time to move on. And you didn't need to bite off the head of the caller that asked if coaching staff changes needed to be made because you lost to South Carolina, you're not getting to the playoffs, and you're definitely not winning a national championship. There was no reason to bite his head off for that question. It was a legitimate question. It made a lot of sense. I would have asked that question. I think it is time for Clemson to make some coaching changes. So I didn't understand why he was so mad. So every time he gets asked a tough question, he either whines about it or bites your head off. Dabo Swinney used to not be like this. Dabo Swinney used to be so much more laid back. But like I said, this is what success can do to you. And I'm not saying he turned into a bad person or a bad coach. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is his stress level is much higher because the standard is much higher. A 10-win season doesn't cut it around here in Clemson anymore. Now it's get to the playoffs or it's a bad season. Especially losing to South Carolina. They haven't lost to South Carolina. I think it was 7 straight years that they beat South Carolina. It might have been 8. I don't know. It's been a while since they lost to South Carolina. So definitely the fan base is going to be mad when you lose to South Carolina, especially since they haven't lost to South Carolina in so long. And the fan base of South Carolina is letting them know they don't want to hear it. Hey, welcome to rivalries. This is what rivalries do. Sometimes the lesser team wins. But in this particular year, Was South Carolina a lesser team? I don't know. I mean, Clemson did have the better record this year. South Carolina did have some better wins than Clemson. So I'm not quite sure. It's an even matchup, and South Carolina did win on the road. So we would have to say that South Carolina was the better team this year. So my question is Shane Beamer what Dabo Swinney used to be? Because if you look at Shane Beamer and the interviews that he does, he's building something over there at South Carolina. So maybe Shane Beamer is the next Dabo Swinney, but at South Carolina. I'm telling you, there's a lot of similarities between Shane Beamer and Dabo Swinney, and I think Shane Beamer will have a lot of success at South Carolina. We could be talking about South Carolina in the future the way that we're talking about Clemson right now. Sorry, Clemson fans, I don't like saying it either, but the truth is the truth. It doesn't matter whether you like the truth or not. If it's the truth, then that's what you have to say. And this year, South Carolina had the better team. And a lot of people think that Dabo eventually will end up at Alabama. And I think that's the case as well. I think when Nick Saban finally retires, it's going to be between Dabo Swinney and Lane Kiffin. Those two guys will get the first choices. I think Dabo will get the first choice. And if Dabo turns it down, it'll be Lane Kiffin. And y'all have to remember, Alabama is home to Dabo Swinney. Even though he's lived in the upstate of South Carolina for 15 years, Alabama is home. Which I would say, do your research, Dabo Swinney. This isn't just a football decision, this is a life decision. And here recently, there's been some bad tornado outbreaks in Alabama. I would not want to live in the state of Alabama right now. For whatever reason, Tornado Alley has shifted from the plains down to the southeastern part of the United States. So I would think about that as well. And you're making a crap ton of money at Clemson anyways. There's no need to uproot your entire family and go back to Alabama, where the likelihood of getting hit by a tornado is much, much higher. Bad tornadoes, by the way, and put your life at risk just for a little bit more money and just to coach at mighty Alabama. I would think that one through. And Lane Kiffin, he's already at Ole Miss, so he's already dealing with tornadoes. So for him, that's not a big decision as far as his safety. I do think Lane Kiffin could win at Alabama as well. What a choice to have, knowing that when Nick Saban retires, you know you can have the choice, well, basically of anybody, not just Dabo Swinney and Lane Kiffin. They can choose anybody. But really, the top two names will be Lane Kiffin and Dabo Swinney. Maybe Lincoln Riley, if he's still having success over at USC. And if Alabama can offer him more money, guess what? Sorry, USC fans, he will bounce from USC and go to Alabama. But I have faith in USC. I think USC can match the money, and I think USC is going to have a lot of success. And I do think Lincoln Riley loves it in Southern Cal. He said one of the reasons why he took the job is because of the big city. He didn't like being the only show in town. So I would feel okay about Lincoln Riley staying at USC. But I'm saying he would probably be a candidate. For Alabama, the best coaches, they're going to be candidates. So when Nick Saban retires, if Lincoln Riley is one of the best coaches, he's going to be a candidate. I think it'll come down to Dabo Swinney or Lane Kiffin, and either one of those coaching hires would be tremendous coaching hires. I do think Dabo Swinney is a little bit better. He's won 2 national championships at Clemson. He's made the playoffs, I think, 6 or 7 times. He's won the ACC 6 or 7 times, maybe 8 times. The dude is a proven winner. Lane Kiffin had limited success at Tennessee, didn't have success at USC. Now he's having limited success at Ole Miss. Dabo Swinney is way more proven than Lane Kiffin, but Lane Kiffin wouldn't be a bad hire at Alabama when Nick Saban retires. And you might as well come to terms with that, Alabama fans. The days of Nick Saban are numbered. I don't know if it's 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, but it's most certainly less than 10 years. I would say 6, 7 years at the most. His days are numbered. So you do need to be thinking ahead as far as who's going to replace Nick Saban. And also, has Nick Saban lost a little bit of his touch? I know Alabama went to the national championship last year only because they beat Georgia in the SEC championship, but overall, he's not having the type of success that he's had in the past at Alabama. Is Nick Saban also taking a step back as well? Now, Nick Saban has always been the type of person where he'll bite your head off if you ask him a question that he don't like. But Dabo Swinney has always been laid back, and it's been recently where he started biting people's heads off. So you can tell the winning culture isn't always peaches and cream. Sometimes the stress can wear you down, and you can tell in the attitude of Dabo Swinney and biting off the head of that collar, it's wearing on Dabo Swinney. And since Alabama fans have to take into consideration that the days of Nick Saban are numbered at Alabama, and they need to be looking forward, the same goes for Clemson. The days of Dabo Swinney might be numbered as well, because as soon as Nick Saban retires from Alabama, Dabo Swinney might be going to Alabama. So y'all need to be thinking about the future as well, and at least consider the possibility that Dabo Swinney might not be at Clemson 5 years from now, especially with this recent attitude that he's been having. So y'all let me know in the comments section. Number 1, do you think Dabo Swinney reacted in an immature way to that caller? Number 2, do you think when Nick Saban retires that Dabo Swinney does go to Alabama? And number 3, do you think that Clemson should be planning ahead in case Dabo Swinney does go to Alabama? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on my next show.